Come from a financial services background. Bankers are the people that I know the most. What is the definition of success?
How can we master that art of responding rather than reacting in high pressure situations?
While I always have to express what I'm going through, I don't have to spill my emotions.
How to create that healthy relationship with our manager?
Maybe that's option one, and option two is moving yourself out of that context, which is what I did.
What will be that mindset shift required for that individual to not get into that burnout? Freshers who are entering into the workspace, growth focused individual, first time manager, mid career plateau. Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond JD, the podcast where we uncover the real stories behind roles, growth and hiring. We often focus on building the right skills and chasing designation. But what's more equally important is that we prepare ourselves in terms of emotional capacity that our career demands. That's what we are going to explore in today's episode. And to share the practical insights about career mental wellness, we have a very special guest, Vamshi Vasudevan, founder and CEO of Anyo app. She brings over 12 years of corporate experience, having worked with Goldman Sachs and Barclays, and later as a founding member and chief credit officer at Vivitri Capital. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi.
So I'm happy to host you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise, happy to be here.
Share us about your career journey, ma'am. You have had a successful career journey in the corporate world.
Sure.
So being in a C-suite to now being an entrepreneur, especially in mental wellness place.
I did 13 years in the financial services space. I worked at Goldman Sachs, Barclays and Vivitri Capital, like you mentioned. The transition initial start was I was a little more reluctant to start. I was not sure what I will do, and wellness just happened. I never planned to start a wellness company. I think therefore it's more destiny, and I'm quite happy that I'm here today. My journey into wellness started more as an exploration in the mental wellness space. I had a coach, her name is Jacinta, and I benefited whenever I met her and I spoke to her. My own personal experience of being able to open up with a coach changed a lot in me. So then I thought maybe this is what I could do to impact people and their lives, and I shifted out to start a wellness company. It almost happened after a coffee shop meeting. That's why I think it's more destiny than planned. I always knew that I wanted to work in the impact space. I wanted to do something where people feel better or impacted rather, and I was not sure what that would be. And after I met Jacinta, somewhere in my head it cleared out that probably mental wellness is a space that I could create that kind of impact. And as we started and we moved along, we have expanded what we do to more areas of wellness, particularly in the corporate space. That happened because wellness as its wellness is not a single topic, right? You're never mentally unwell alone. It involves all dimensions of well-being. Likewise, with any well-being, no aspect is singular. It is multi-dimensional. That's why we wanted to add more aspects, because we could genuinely support an employee or anyone with their wellness needs. How has the transition been? Initial start is always fun, right? You're trying to build a product and you want your ideas to be discussed, and there's brainstorming and all of that. The difficult part starts when you start selling the product. People share feedback. While you think you've built a great product, there are people who are questioning you on why you've done this. Also, there is questions around why is your product worth what you're asking for. So those are the times when you really question yourself about the skill sets that you have, and if you would be capable enough of selling what you've built. So that's the difficult part. We are 3 years into this journey now. So we have learnt a lot. Of course, 3 is a small number when it comes to a company. We are still in that initial stages where we are learning, and this has been my learning so far at Anyo.
We need more players in this space, right? We need to create more awareness in this space as well. So you told like this was not your informed career decision, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it happened just like that.
Yeah.
But now how you feel? Like after you
Okay.
started and building a product, you're seeing that meaningful impact that you're creating?
Sure. See, there is, in fact, last 2 weeks back for Women's Day, I was at a bank and somebody, because I come from a financial services background. Bankers are the people that I know the most, and when I was speaking to them, there were questions around, would you have made more money if you were a banker than doing something around the wellness space? Now, that question is a tough one to take, right? Now, what is the definition of success? All of us want to make money. All of us also want to live a satisfied life. Now, at what point you're willing to take that bargain to say, okay, for the next 3-4 years, maybe I'm not going to be high on money, but this is what will lead me to that space where I could somewhere balance both of this
Right.
in the long run.
Right.
So that has been my choice. Now, did I expect that it'll take this long or longer? The answer is no. When you look at entrepreneurship from outside, it always looks fancy, right? You want to be that. When you get in, there is a lot more learning time that it takes, your own understanding of the product, and in my case, it was not an informed decision like you mentioned. So there's a lot more to go through to even get to the stage when you can call yourself as a person who survived in this journey. I think
Okay.
I am still not there when where I could say that we will sustain in the long run, right? So that's uncertain. But now, whether I'm enjoying it, I would define by satisfaction quotient, right?
Okay.
Am I more satisfied with what I'm doing now than what I was doing, say, 5 years before? I'm completely more satisfied. Am I successful? That is very individual. Monetarily, I'm still, I may not be there yet, but I am able to see a path which will sort of blend what I want from a monetary perspective to a satisfaction perspective, and that's what keeps me going.
Now I have few questions which every employee working has.
Sure.
Like regarding their well-being. Maintaining a strong professional reputation at workplace requires a high level of emotional regulation, right?
Yeah.
So what would be your tips in how to identify those triggers, on how to manage our emotions, and how can we master that art of responding rather than reacting in high pressure situations?
Okay, so you put all the keywords. I would have said, let's respond, not react. Now that
Okay.
you asked that as a question, I'll have
Yeah.
to go beyond that. See, I think we spill emotions because we generally don't define who does what relationship. Like for me, I could have a coach, I could have a therapist, I could have a friend, or it could be a colleague. Not everybody, one or two of them who I trust the most, where I can talk to them about what I'm going through emotionally, right? And the rest of them are people with whom I have to react professionally or respond professionally. Most of the times in our head, we fail to draw these boundaries, right? So I am immediately responding to somebody, and when you say reacting, I'm expressing my emotions and my vulnerability because I don't have that boundary in my head to say that, okay, this is professional, this is what is being asked of me, and this is how this is what I'm going through. Maybe I could express it better, right? I don't give myself that time to think about what is that person's role, or what is my role with that person. So what I do personally is try to define the role that a person is playing, right? If there is a manager, I need to react to them in a certain way. Of course, we all have to be authentic. There is no we don't have to mask what we are feeling, but the way I talk about it can change person to person, depending on how I view that person. To my friend, to my parents, or even to my therapist, I am as plain as possible, right? To Jacinta, probably I had said everything, which is why I felt impacted. Now, do I have to do it with a colleague? Do I have to do it with my manager? The answer is no. While I always have to express what I'm going through, I don't have to spill my emotions. So that's how I try to differentiate. If I'm able to think about the person's role, then I think I am able to respond better. So that's what I personally do. Yeah, it's worked for me. I think everybody has to figure out what is their way. But this is one thing that I genuinely do. I keep a set of people who are close to me, or who I think are the ones with whom I am going to be fully transparent. For rest of them, it is a rehearsed way of saying things,
Right.
and I don't spill what I think
Right.
immediately.
Now, coming to office politics. Politics is everywhere,
Yeah.
at every workplace.
Sure.
Sometimes we are involved, sometimes we are not involved. Sometimes we realize it later that we are part of it.
Yeah.
So, how should we identify it early stage that something is happening around us, and how to handle it effectively?
Okay. See, I always have stayed out of politics, right?
Okay.
In the sense that, like you're saying, something can happen even, I mean, I could get trapped into something without even being aware that I'm playing a part to it. But in most scenarios, I feel that as we don't indulge, right, the other person can clearly see it. As so, there is people, if they see you as authentic, if they see you as fair, if they see you as trustworthy, then whatever happens around you, it could be a short term impact, but people respect you for what you are, right? How do I stay out from not playing along when somebody is trying to sort of create the trap? Is more awareness. I think in an organization, it's a very small percentage that indulges, and if you are aware of the people around you and their way of communication, or even the way they talk about things with you, if there's somebody who's always talking about people, then that's the person who's going to indulge more in talking about people. So can we stay away from such people or not indulge? The more you give them opportunity to come and talk to you about others around you, the more you are indulging, right? So today they're talking about others to you, and later it's you with others. So that's when there is a trap. So I genuinely stay out or away from people who talk about people. If there are general things that we can talk at office, it gets a little better. And I strongly feel that you can't have too many friends at work. Like I spend a lot of, we all spend a lot more time at office. There are a lot of people where we share a lot of things with, right? I'm not saying we should not do that, but I think again you should really know who is that person with whom you can share your views.
Right.
And the rest is still people who you talk about, but you don't have to talk about people. So I think if we stay away from that, we can to a large extent at least not get trapped in office politics. And if you're not indulging, I think people move out, they get bored.
Okay.
And they will move out in the long run.
Got it. So it's how we behave and how we position ourselves matter.
Yeah, I think most of the times it's that, right? Like you say, there can be instances when you get trapped, but as long as people see that you are trustworthy and authentic, right, they will see through. Everybody in the organization knows that few people who are the ones who create these kind of politics. And I think, see, it is sad if it goes beyond a point where you're not able to prove yourself, but at least hand on heart you can be at peace that this is not what you had created or what you've done.
Let's talk about the work relationships. Researchers tell that our direct manager plays a huge role in our mental health well-being.
Yeah.
So, how to create that healthy relationship with our manager?
Okay, see, again, there is some things that are out of our control, right? Who becomes our manager is out of our control. And the his own emotional regulation, what he understands as managerial style or success, is again outside of our control. Now, of the three companies that I've worked with, I've had great managers in two of them. I think I've grown because of them. And there was one case where the manager was very difficult. I am the same person in all three places, but my own experience at that one place was where my manager was bad is still bad. I don't have great memories of that place. So that is it. I mean, I can't do much to change, but can I at least find peace in that environment as long as I have to live or survive in that environment? Is the question I keep asking myself. Did I do too well then? Not really. I was sometimes now when I look back and think, I feel I should have complained. Maybe I should have raised my voice. I should have spoken up. But all of this comes as hindsight when you're at a different position at peace. When you're in that zone, maybe you can't think too much about how do I handle it, right? We're just trying to get through on a daily basis. Now, in such instance, or for me at least, I was giving myself time to say, okay, I'm caught in this, I don't have a way out. What is the next best option? Should I move teams, or should I move out of the organization? Because that's really what I could do, because the manager is going to remain. He's a successful manager.
Yeah.
And there were people in my team who liked him and who really moved from a different team to come and work in this team to be a part of his team. So it was largely to do with my rapport with the manager, right? And I could, how much could you change yourself, nor could you change the other person. So for me it was about finding, putting time to how long I have to be working with him. And do I want to shift within the company, or do I want to go out, right?
Okay.
Now, once that decision is very clear in my head, then of course when I joined, I knew I don't want to quit within a year, because it doesn't look good on your resume. So there are a lot of constraints. Not everybody can take such decisions easily. But I started numbering, putting a number to it. Say it's 1.5 years or 2 years that I have to go through this. Now, when that is clear, at least you start thinking about it as a finite problem, or a problem with a finite timeline, and how do I still work around when I am here. And then it becomes a little more easy for you
manage.
to manage, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think works better. I mean, that's what has worked for me. But I really don't see a way to change the person. And I don't know if I could have communicated that, or what I'm going through, to him directly. So maybe I was not bold enough to do that, right? I was always thinking about what would happen if I communicate. I maybe if I'd communicated, it would have been a little better even there. So that's one option, but I haven't tried it, and I didn't have the courage to do it at that point. I mean, now it is a podcast and I have to speak about it. Maybe I will ask people to try it, but I haven't done it myself. But maybe that's option one, and option two is moving yourself out of that context, which is what I did.
So option 1 is about communicating to the higher management. Option 2 is about taking a decision.
Yeah.
So we can't change anyone,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So
Right. So do you think, is there a need to train the first time managers on this well-being space?
Yeah.
Because they need to know about what to talk, what not to say,
yeah.
like when to just listen and not talk, right?
Very, very pertinent question. There are a lot of organizations that are doing this now. In fact, one is training the first time managers, and they also create a group in the company which is called mental health first aiders, so it's almost like a first aid. Instead of the physical issue first aid, you think about mental issue first aid. So somebody is not feeling well in a company, or emotionally unwell, can there be somebody within the company who could be their first point of contact? So that's how much organizations have progressed, and we also do some of these sessions at Anyo. But that apart, managers, first time managers necessarily need training. And I think it is also important to communicate what skills are seen as positive within an organization. I think that comes top down. How much ever training I do, or an organization does, it's the culture. If people who are aggressive or who are seen as pushy or whatever, right, who create that toxic environment for growth are showcased as successful managers,
Right.
then whoever becomes a manager sort of replicates that behavior, because that's a definition of success in the organization. Now that's workplace culture, which again is a top down thought process, right? So while training is important, I think the person who's framing the policy or passing down the culture has to think a little more broader and has to set the right example of what growth and culture in the organization would mean. Until that happens, everything else is bandage that is happening in the rest of the organization, but it may not work.
So, apart from manager, our work experience is highly influenced by the peers or colleagues
Yeah.
around us. So, sometimes our work friendships be our strong support system.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes it becomes complicated as well.
Sure.
So, how to build a genuine connections in workplace?
Okay, very tough, right? So you're best friends with somebody in your own team. They get promoted, you don't get promoted. The friendship breaks. Like you may still feel bad. You may be happy about that person's progress, but if they happen to grow and become your manager, then that relationship breaks, right? You don't feel great about it. So these are things again outside of your control. So that's why I always be very conscious of who is our best friend in the organization. Now they may grow beyond us, they may grow based on their skill sets. Can I really separate growth from friendship? If I am able to do it, then it's great to have friends in workplace. I think that's where it gets a little difficult, and the more difficulty happens when I start discussing salaries, right? So as long as we are able to stay away from conversation about pay, raise, appraisal, and to keep the growth away from friendship, then it's really good to have office friends. I'm not sure how many of us have the emotional maturity to do it. So at each of my workplace, I have very good friends. Even today, they are the people who I call and talk back with, and I've never had that problem because they were possibly senior than me even when they joined, right? So them growing didn't have too much impact on me because they were always above me, right? I mean, if it were a peer, would it have been the same? Is a question that I keep asking myself. We are all human beings. It is impossible to control that feeling of okay, we were peers, but he or she is done better than me. So if we are able to maintain that mental maturity, even if you're feeling bad for a few days, can you just come back and uh, be the same with that person? And can you be the same? So if they happen to be your manager, then you can't be the same, because for that person things change, right? They can't be seen as biased within an organization. So how do you I mean, it gets complicated only in these scenarios, otherwise it's really nice. So can you be friends outside of work and at work maintain a professional behavior? These are things that we have to figure out. But if it gets that complicated, I think it's better to
Move away.
just be at a state where you both are in good talking terms, you
Okay.
both have a good rapport, but don't get that close at work and share everything that you're going through. But if you happen to find a friend like I did, who is always going to be a friend, and whatever happens in your life or their career, I mean in your career or their career, doesn't matter, it's great.
Now let's talk about one important aspect.
Sure.
Always on work culture. Nowadays, few companies wants their employees to be always available.
Yeah.
So, because of this, burnouts are getting built up very quietly.
Yeah.
What are some early warning signs or red flags that indicate that a person is leading towards burnouts?
Brilliant question. See, I've been wanting to answer this for a very long time. I will also touch upon work life balance
Yeah.
as we go through this, if you don't mind. See, first of all, at Anyo as well, right? We think about wellness in five pillars,
Okay.
right? There is sleep, there is movement, there is new food, what you're eating on a daily basis, stress, and then there is social connections where you need people, you have to spend time with people outside work and all of that. So in these five pillars, sleep and food is a non-negotiable. Even exercise comes after that, right?
Right.
If you are in a workplace where you are not able to sleep well, if you're not able to eat uh, because you have meetings or you have to skip on a regular basis, whatever, if these two are not met, surely you're heading towards burnout, right? There is no other way, because these are fundamentals to your body. Now your mind can operate at some level. It may not be at the most efficient level. You can push yourself to work, but how far can you push? See, there are, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are days when you travel when you're not sleeping. I'm not talking about one off days, right?
Right.
Consistently, if you're not able to sleep well, and if you're not able to eat uh, three times a day or two times a day, based on whatever your habit is, then either you will burn out emotionally, or it is reflected as diseases, lifestyle diseases in your body, both the body or the mind. In some cases both reacts, right? And it is the first step. Now add the next dimension to it, which is movement. uh, can I at least work out on weekends and then pull walk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes on weekdays? That's a question that we'll have to ask ourselves. When I say workout, I'm not thinking about high intensity stuff. Can we do basics? Right? Is some level of movement a part of our routine, or are we just not able to do anything because our work is so demanding? Uh, Now that again, whether it becomes, I don't know if it'll translate into burnout, but it'll surely translate into lifestyle issues. So obesity or gut health, right? All of us have acidity, bloating, burping, a lot of things that the body is showing as symptoms. And if you still don't work, that's what leads to diabetes, hypertension, and a lot of other diseases. Now, whether you see it as a burnout, which is mental health, or a disease which is physiological, both of this have only 3 4 fundamentals that we work on. And then comes stress and social connections, which now we take for granted, right? I don't spend time with my family at all, seems to be okay for us because we think we have to stay always on. Here as well, I have a different take on what work life balance itself means, right? There are few people who cannot take time out on weekdays. Like, my weekdays is set. I leave at this time, I come back at this time, I have a routine. I have no space for most people in my life. So how do you measure what is your definition of balance? Should it have to be every day? Should it have to be weekly twice, which is weekends? Or, one day, Sunday, I don't do anything, but I spend time with my family 15 days once, or once in a month, once in a quarter, 10 days in a year. So any of this can be a definition of balance for you, right? But am I good enough to communicate this with my family, and are they okay with it, is the next question. I may be okay going for a holiday 10 days in a year and work for the rest of the year, but is my setup also okay with this, right? Can I find a mutually workable solution to balance, is the question then we'll have to ask ourselves. And if we are able to define what it means, then it is okay. I don't have to sit and watch TV with my family every day, because that, while it looks really nice when it is spoken about, hardly we live that kind of lives where it becomes a possibility every day, right? So can we define what that means for us and our family, and be sure that, come what may, on most instances, 95% of the times, we will put full effort to ensure that it happens. I think that's how I can manage family and social connections, or that entire thing about balance. Stress is something that I really want to address, right? Because what is causing us stress is something we really don't know. Is it about our time management, right? Are we in a workspace where we cannot find 15 minutes for ourselves in a day? That just seems impossible to me. is it not happening because I have not planned my day and I don't know which is that 15 minutes that I have for myself, right? I am just going by the day and I have no clue of my entire schedule, or I'm just letting it happen. In such instances, it's possible that I don't have the time. Consistently, if somebody cannot take 10-15 minutes for themselves, I really feel it's less to do about their work, it's more to do about their own time management, or allocating priorities. I am not, I mean, I'm wanting to see a workplace where a person is that busy that 15 minutes becomes impossible. Now, how much do we pass on to the company and how much do we take on ourselves? When I say this, I mean how much of stress that we are going through is because of us, and how much is really because of work, is a distinction that we have to draw. Unless we are able to do it, we will not progress, because we're just blindly blaming, saying this is how my work is. Maybe it is, but are you sure it is work, right? Can we really figure out which part of it is ourselves? If we do that, maybe things around us will get a little better. We will find time for ourselves. And if really somebody is in that kind of a job where they don't have even 10 minutes, 15 minutes for themselves, then they should rethink if that is worth doing it, right? Or again, how long will they do it? Because all of us have only finite what do you say, it's like if you do this infinitely, something else is going to pull you down, so you can't pull it off for a long run. So yeah, this is what I think, and these 5 pillars are what I really focus on when I say I mean, that's what we want to do with the company as well, because fundamentally I think if we get these 5 things right, we will be much better than where we are as it stands today, when we are a little unclear about what our priorities are.
Actually, you also covered a topic on stress, right? So, when it comes to stress or frustration, what kind of questions we can ask ourselves to find what is the root cause for that stress or frustration?
Okay, very, very interesting question, right? Now, what stresses us first is how much. So, today I had to book a cab and I had to come here. I always try to be 10 minutes before a meeting, but I came on time because the cab driver missed a route, and then, we went around Gindi trying to come to Velicheri. Now, is this in my control? Not really. But okay, 10 minutes today was sufficient. In some cases, had the traffic been bad, that extra 10 minutes may not have been sufficient. Now, how much can I really control and how much is outside of my control is something that we'll have to define first. I can get frustrated at the driver for taking a wrong route, but I can shout at him, but beyond that, nothing is going to happen. He does not have a KRA to drop me by 11. He has just, I booked him through Uber and he's come. So, can I first differentiate between what is in my control and what is out of my control? And can I genuinely plan what I want to do in a week, in a day, and in a month, right? I am a little more of a go by the flow kind of a person. For me to plan too much feels a little difficult. I'm not somebody. So I have a twin who just plans almost every hour of a day, and to me, I find it very difficult. I find it suffocating, or not my style. So each of us have our own style in terms of how we want to do things, but within that, will I know what I want to get out of the day? So when I go to office and I just start working, those are the days when I feel completely dissatisfied by end of day, because I'm just working and I don't know what I want to get out of the day. Some of our jobs are define that for us. So if you are in a role where you have a set definition of a day, then at least to some extent that is solved for you. This is what you need to do. You when you finish that, your job is done. For a lot of people, the role itself is ad hoc. Like, you may have an end goal. My sales target is 1 crore, 2 crore, 3.5 crore, whatever that number is, but I don't have a daily plan. So when the role is ad hoc, then it becomes even more difficult. Role is ad hoc, you're ad hoc, it's chaos, right? If the role is more structured, even if you're ad hoc, it still sort of balances somewhere because the day is defined for you. So for people who are the nature of the role is ad hoc, which means there are a lot more externalities to your role. I have to sell, I have a sales target, but the other person does not respond to me is an externality that I can't control, right? So can I at least plan to that extent of saying, okay, this is what I want to do for today, right? Or if you're somebody who can't do it daily, can I think about what I want to do within a week, so that I keep going back when my mind becomes fogged, is one thing that I think we all have to do to feel a little stress free. So I mean, you will still not feel stress free, but you will not feel so confused and fogged about what is happening, because you can still go back to that sheet and say, okay, this is what I want to do in this week. So that's been my see, beyond all of that, of course, there is family, there is travel, commute is a big source of stress. I have to come 1.5 hours, long work hours, all of this exists. I'm not taking away the effort that we're putting, but in that, can we just make life a little better for ourselves by defining outcomes for a period of time which is comfortable for us, and in that define what is in our control, what is out of our control, so that at least we could plan with what's in our control, I think is what we could do to be a little more peaceful in life.
As you said, all the problems begin when our stress or frustration starts bleeding into our personal life.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we are just physically present, but mentally we are still at the work.
Yeah.
And as you said, waking up in the sleep and thinking about the work thoughts, many of us would have gone through. Yes. So I just want you to tell a quick strategy.
Sure.
Or that psychological commute.
Yeah.
To just switch off our brain from a work mode.
Sure.
And be fully present in our personal life.
For this question, I'd like to generally go back to what our parents did. Life was a little hard for them because they didn't have the kind of luxury or facilities we had. So most of them used to walk back home or take a public transport. It could be a bus or a train, or most of them walked back, two-wheeler or a cycle. People had used cycles also. Now you think about it, the more you are taking the time off, it used to take them at least 15-20 minutes to walk, even if it was 1 kilometer. People used to cycle that distance. So you are staying in a quiet zone with yourself for some time before you expose yourself to people you will have to talk, spend time with, etc., right? So there are few days when I've attempted to just walk. So my home is about 5 kilometers from work. I've tried just walking from office to home, just to try if it works. And honestly, trust me, it has worked very brilliantly, because by the time you go home somehow, because of in giving yourself that quiet time, your mind clears out and you're able to do much better at home. And there is a friend of mine who's a mandala coach, mandala teacher. She's somebody who practices a little bit of art, so that mind clears. I think we all have to do something that gives us that quiet time, right? It could be journaling. Journaling works very well. So can you just journal and close what your thoughts are at work and then leave home? There's something called thought dump in psychology, where you just dump what you're thinking. Like every thought in your mind, you just write it down. So the moment you put a structure and write it on a piece of paper, it just gets off your head, right? So I think that few moments of quietness where you're sitting with yourself and writing down, or doing something that you like, walk, whatever it can be for you, is necessary for you to mentally switch. So the mind has to move from one zone to another zone. That happens when you're a little more mindful. It can be anything, whatever you like. Some people play. If you see people who go out, play, and come home, they're always much more energetic at home. They're always able to connect better at home. So we have to find what is that that will help us to switch mindfulness techniques exist for that. If you don't know what to do, start with anything that's about mindfulness,
Okay,
and
okay.
it works.
In today's work from home scenario, right, there's no physical separation between the
Yeah.
work and the home.
See, when you have a defined office space, even the way you think about rooms in the house, right? Most of us, I mean, wherever, even if it's the smallest house, we define a dedicated space for sleep, right? And we define a dedicated space for prayer, and for each of these, right? Why? Because when you go there, your brain brings you into that mode. It's very similar to that dog experiment that was proven. So brain works in that fashion. Brain is still there, and if you are at home and you're lying down on your bed working, if you're not putting those boundaries when you're doing work from home, um, uh, uh, you think life has become easier, but actually it is the converse, right? You're never able to distinguish between these two, because your mind is not able to figure out whether you're
Right.
at work or you're at home. Discipline becomes more important when you're working from home. I've seen people who dress up and sit in front of the computer like how they would do if they were at work. I think that's much better, and keeping a space for work and actually closing it when you're done and moving to a different space if you have that luxury, or journal and say I'm done with work and I want to, I mean, somewhere you will have to make it a practice for your mind. So most of what we're saying is psychology, right? You'll have to train your brain to say I'm done, let's move on to the next thing. If you
Right.
don't if you're sitting in the same place and watching TV and working, the brain is unsure on what it is doing at this point of time. So if you're able to set some physical boundaries between work, close work, and do the rest of the day, it is much better. Otherwise, in the long run, work from home is a confusion.
Right. So as you said, we need to consciously build that habit.
Yeah.
Of that separation and switch off. This is a final segment.
Sure.
Like, so the challenges we face at the workplace, right? It differs at each stage of our career.
Yeah.
Right. So I will list few stages of career.
Yeah.
So can you tell, like, what will be that mindset shift
Yeah.
required for that individual
Sure.
to not get into that burnout?
Sure.
Yeah. So the first one, freshers who are entering into the workspace.
Sure. See, I'm just going to draw analogy from a startup that I'm running, right?
Okay.
So freshers in the space are like the first few years of the startup. The
Okay.
goal is survival. I have to work. I mean, I'll have to prove to myself that I am capable of surviving in an office environment, right? Okay, doing well and proving to the manager happens as a outcome, but I'll have to, there's more self doubt. Can I do this? Is it possible? These are the questions that keep coming to somebody who's just started. And you see that there are giants in the space, like there are managers, there are people who've been in the company for a very long time, and you're just questioning your own presence. So there I think we can be a little more open. I mean, that's what is always told to entrepreneurs, right? So you be open, be nimble, change, don't have too rigid opinions on what works, what does not work. I will say the same thing. Let's be a little more open, because we don't know things yet. We are figuring out, and we'll have to give ourselves the time and space to figure out. We will all make mistakes. I don't think there is trying to be perfect when you're early is a problem. We'll have to give ourselves the time and space to learn and be open. People in that space possibly know more than what you do. Of course, that does not mean you have to follow them blindly, but we'll be open to feedback. We will be open to thinking differently. I think maybe we'll have to work harder than the rest of the team. So we will have to accept that, because we're just starting and we will have to get there.
Right. So we need to be flexible to mold ourselves.
Yes.
Growth focused individual. So more of people who believe in hustle culture, who wants to be visible and grow later.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm not against such people, right? Maybe I am also somebody who likes to, I'm not sure if I hustle, but I like to be talking about work, doing something which sort of adds value. All of us want to be that, right? We all want to add value in the environment that we are in. If you're a hustler, um, see, I have a very different view of hustle in general,
Okay,
right?
okay.
The way we are made physiologically, the hustle is a physical word. Your body can hustle, right? You're running, you're jumping, you're doing different things. Your mind never hustles. Your mind is meant to be calm.
Okay.
That's the nature of the mind.
Okay.
When we say we hustle, we sort of confuse it, right? We think we can do 10 things at a time. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now, that is a problem. While we think we can multitask and we are great hustlers, we are not made to do that. So what I mean by that is, I want to do 10 projects is okay, because I think I can do more. It's a capability question, which somebody may have, right? But I'll have to segregate even that 10 to say next 1 hour I'm going to do one. So mind cannot do 10 things at a time.
Right.
So whenever I see people who say that I'm a hustler, I like to grow, I just want to tell them that, taking up multiple things at the same time does not mean hustle, right?
Okay,
Still,
okay.
you will have to be in the state of mind where you're able to do justice to all the 10 things that you have chosen to do. Mind works only when it is calm. So hustling means trying different things. That's how
Okay.
I see it.
Okay.
And in each, if you give your best, which means you're letting your mind be at its best potential for a longer duration, then we grow better.
Nice,
Right.
nice. So much needed reminder for me, I guess. First time manager, like from the perspective of doing work to enabling the work.
Yeah.
There is some
Yeah.
shift they need to do, right?
See, I think first time managers or managers in general have to be a little more empathetic and have to always think about where they were, right? So, what I wanted out of my manager is how I have to behave. It's like the prayer that we say, right? I mean, I'm not able to recollect the prayer. So it's we reflect what we wanted from people, and we get what we sort of show to others. So if we are a manager, can we understand why somebody has not been able to do something? If you have a problem, first of all, the team has to trust you, right? There's no other thing that's needed to be a manager other than trust. Most of the times there are people in the team whose skills may be superior to you, so that cannot give us a complex. If we feel inferior because somebody in the team is doing better, or his skill sets are better than you, then it's a bigger problem, because we will always try to sideline that person, right? So if we have to become an enabler, we have to genuinely be okay with people having better skills than you, and for whoever is not growing faster as you would expect, at least have the conversation to ask them what is stopping them, and can you be an enabler. So that's what being an enabler means. Everybody is different, and will we make the one person who's doing extraordinary well as the champion, and make the rest of them feel inferior? These are the questions that we'll have to ask ourselves. If we're able to sort of make everybody feel heard, and they feel that you're fair, I think we will be okay.
Mid career plateau, where a person feels stagnant in their career. Yeah.
I sometimes think that I mean, I ask myself, did I start a company because I was going through that, mid-career plateau, where I didn't know if this is what I wanted to do. So it happens. There are people like me who think it's destiny and start a company. We don't know if that was destiny. Time will tell that. But I think it's very normal. That's where the satisfaction. See, it's Maslow's hierarchy again, right? You've
Yeah, yeah.
crossed all your needs, and you're at that point where you're looking for internal satisfaction. You will have to cross that path. Now, that's actually a good thing. So the moment you get there, your soul is prompted prompting you to figure out what you want to do in life. And if you're a believer in destiny and karma, so that's the point where you go into self introspection. Now what you choose to do is where you differentiate, right? Not all of us have to follow the same path. For some of us, it's at work, right? We want to become something different from what we're doing at from a career perspective. We could also channelize it outside of work. My work could still remain this. You find another passion. So a lot of people run. If you see runners, a lot of them start mid career, because that gives them that connect. So they feel that they're doing something which gives them a meaning and purpose. Search for purpose, I think, is the way soul grows. Now what is purpose is very, very different. We should just give ourselves the time to figure out what our purpose is. And I don't think we should judge, right? Somebody running is as purposeful as somebody running a company. Maybe I've seen people who draw, who dance. I don't think we should, even spending more time with family could be somebody's purpose. So giving ourselves time to figure out that purpose, and if we find joy in something, it does not matter, right? We spend time there and keep the career as is. We don't have to think that this mid-career plateau is only related to work. If we just, it's more internal. I think if we give ourselves the time to explore different things and figure out what is giving that satisfaction and just add it on to where you are, it could be better. But if you're deciding to shift and do something, I think that's a person's choice, and there's no harm in doing that.
Career switcher or reinventor. So often people feel that they are starting from scratch.
See, I am that person. I did financial services and then I shifted into health. Like I mean, the space is not new. The space is existing. I am new to the space. So for me, it's reinventing. So is it good or bad? Depends on. Maybe somebody who has come from this space may not have needed 3 years to get to where I am. They could have reached that faster because they knew how it works. For me, I had to spend that time to be here. But this is what I've chosen to do, and it takes longer. So every time you're reinventing, it takes longer for you to reach to wherever the other person is. There is no fast forward to that, because you learn certain things by experience, right? Now when you are shifting in a known zone, now that is experience that's getting amplified, because you already know some parts of it. What is unknown is a smaller portion, right? Now these again, what gives you satisfaction and what you want to do is more important. For me, I wanted to do this. I've shifted out. Now I've taken so much time. That still is giving me satisfaction. I think regret is the problem. And if I come here and if I think that maybe I would have been better that way, that oscillation is the problem. We'll have to be very clear if you're reinventing, because if you're switching within zone, still it's lesser risk, right? The moment you choose to reinvent, then we will have to be sure that even if it takes longer, we are going to stay. You can quit. It is not about quitting, it is about regretting. So will you regret if you quit, saying that I wasted 3 years? Then you're in trouble. If you just want to try, and if it doesn't work, you're going to quit and do whatever happens from there, and you're that open, it's not a problem.
Senior leadership level, like CXOs, like I guess I feel their journey is often isolated journey. Like they need to be expected to be very strong and rock always. Like how do you see their journey?
See, I think is it true is a question that I'm asking myself. In fact, very recently we had organized a laughter yoga session, and the way laughter yoga works is you just have to the theme is fake it till you make it, right? You just have to, they make you laugh, and laugh is contagious, so you continue to laugh. That's how this works. Now why I'm saying this is, when we had conducted this, I was sitting there and I was asked to laugh. So the questions that were running in my head at that point is, can I do it? you wear a crown on your head and keep judging yourself based on the crown. What will people think of me if I laugh like a with can I just let loose so much? Is it okay to do this? Were the kind of questions. And at that moment I thought, are we wearing a crown so artificially? Do we need to hold such positions so tight, right? And I did not even realize. See, I was somebody, I mean, my impression of myself was somebody who was not, was a little more casual about designation. Until that happened, I couldn't. It took some time for me to engage in that activity without having to think about my role, my designation, etc. I think that's a problem. Most of the times, people take their designations too seriously that they lose connect with what their feelings are, right? And you can't be that beyond a point. Now, it is not to say that we should spill emotions. I'm just saying that can we be true to ourselves? There are times when we want to be emotional, right? You don't imagine a CXO sitting with a stoic face. You don't understand what he's trying to communicate. Nobody wants to work with people like that, right? You connect when people talk to you
Right.
truly. So I think for CXOs it is more important to be less serious about their designations, in the sense that you don't have to wear it as a crown. Be a little more open to enjoying things and feeling what you're going through.
Okay.
If we are not able to go through the feeling, then it's very mechanical. We may still be successful, but we will not enjoy what's happening on a day-to-day basis. And if you're not enjoying, there's no point in that role. Like, it reflects. The more you are into it and you're enjoying, people see. If I am sitting tight in that laughter yoga and not wanting to laugh, everybody around me is also going to sit tight, right? So the more you display, so it is also passion. The more you are going through every day with so much real feelings, people also do it because they see passion. That's what is passion to me. So I think we should let ourselves be more real than thinking too much about designations.
So the last one in the list, a mother returning after a maternity break.
Okay, that's a very difficult question, right? I've not faced it personally, but I have a sister who recently delivered. She has a 1.5 year son. Every time when I look at her, I keep asking myself what I will do to an employee, because I see that she needs more time off work. She's somebody who is very, very sincere at work. Even now, while she works from home, she tries to do a little more on maybe weekends or the time that she gets, so that people don't feel that she's doing lesser. I think most of them have the right intent and they're trying to do more than what they can do if they were to be a little more relaxed. So they're doing more work than giving time for themselves, is what I've seen up close with my sister. So now when I see people returning from maternity, I think that they need a little more space, time, and that benefit of doubt that they're doing their best, right? And it's a matter of time where they come back to their whatever we've seen of them before. I mean, thanks to my sister, maybe I wouldn't have said this 2 years back. I also feel that men have to understand this, see what their own families are going through, and give the benefit of doubt to the lady who is returning. Give them the space and give them the support that is needed, and I think they will do well.
So most of the problems which we discussed, right, the solution is we need to communicate effectively to the management
Yeah.
what we are feeling, right? So how can a leaders create that environment where employees feel safe to communicate what they feel without it getting backfired?
Yeah, see, it's a it's a culture problem, right? Now, managers creating a safe space means what? So one, it is not reflecting in your. So if I go tell to my manager today that I can't take up the work that you've given me, will he be okay taking that, right? Is the question. Now, can I also substantiate why I can't take it? Is one, communication. Two is the manager has to really understand the other person's problems and be okay with it. See, it comes with practice. The manager also has to have ability and people to offload it in your absence. So if you're not going to take it, somebody else has to do it. He has to have the people in his team. So while we do not, I mean, it's see, sometimes it's just easier to say that the person has to create that space. Now I think it is more about that conversation. Can the
Okay.
manager openly tell the person that he does not have any other support? Now, if I'm not being able to be transparent, I will push with aggression to say that no, this is, I give this job, you have to do it. So, see, that's where real conversations, making the other person, the moment I tell you that, you know, you are the only person who I think can do this job and I don't have somebody, you feel much, you feel stronger, you
Empowered.
feel empowered, and you want to do the job, right? So, the way in which we converse and genuinely tell what we are going through on both sides and not judge and keep the conversation open is what I think people have to do. That's what that is a safe space, right? Being true and telling people what is happening and why it is so makes things easier.
Thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah.
insights so far.
Thank
We
you.
had a meaningful conversation, I guess.
I hope
Yeah.
so. Thank you. I loved this conversation. I've not spoken so much about team, company, or management in a long time. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah. Subscribe to Beyond JD YouTube channel so that you don't miss when your favorite role is covered. Thank you.